Have you ever found yourself waking up in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep doesn't come as easily as it used to? Or maybe you've noticed your hands aren't as steady as they once were, making simple tasks like opening a jar feel like a challenge. These little changes can sneak up on us, leaving us frustrated and sometimes even worried that this is just old age settling in. But what if I told you that many of these struggles, whether it's muscle weakness, memory slips, or feeling unsteady on your feet, aren't just inevitable signs of aging? There's a surprising truth behind why these things happen, and it might not be what you think. Most people believe that these issues come simply from moving less or just getting older. However, research shows that there are often hidden factors at play, things that can be addressed and even improved with the right knowledge and simple habits. It's easy to overlook these quiet signs because they seem small, but ignoring them can lead to bigger challenges down the road. In this video, I'm going to share with you some important insights that many seniors don't hear about. You'll discover practical tips that can help you regain strength, improve balance, and even boost your memory. By the end, you'll know the one habit that could make a real difference in your day-to-day life. So, stick around. I'm right here with you, and together we'll explore how to feel better and live more confidently, no matter your age. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. They quietly save the best for their loved ones. If you've ever found yourself sitting at the dinner table, watching your partner reach for the last piece of pie or the juiciest slice of roast, you might smile and say, "Go ahead, you take it." Maybe you even nudge the plate a little closer to them, making sure they don't miss the treat you know they love. At first glance, these moments might seem so ordinary, so woven into the fabric of daily life, that you barely give them a second thought. After all, isn't it just good manners to offer the best to someone else? But have you ever wondered why, deep down, you feel a special satisfaction in letting your loved one have the tastiest bite, the comfiest chair, or the warmest blanket? Why do so many older men, especially those who have spent a lifetime beside their spouse, make these quiet little sacrifices almost without thinking? It's easy to write these gestures off as simple habits, the result of decades of sharing a home and a life. You might even tell yourself, that's just what you do when you love someone. But is it only politeness or routine? Or could it be something deeper? Something quietly powerful that shapes how we care for one another as we grow older? Let's turn this question around for a moment. What if these tiny acts of kindness, saving the last bite, picking out the ripest peach for your wife, making sure the seat by the window is hers, are more than just social niceties? What if they're a language of love, spoken not with words but with everyday choices? Is it possible that by quietly saving the best for our loved ones, we're expressing a profound commitment, one that says, "Your happiness is my happiness, even in the smallest ways"? Scientists and psychologists have spent years studying the subtle art of giving, especially among older adults. Interestingly, research shows that as we age, we often find the greatest joy not in receiving, but in giving, particularly to those we care about most. This shift is not just cultural, but also biological. Our brains release feel-good chemicals, such as oxytocin, when we perform acts of kindness, even small ones. One study from the University of California, Berkeley, found that older adults who regularly engage in what they call prosocial behavior, meaning acts done for the benefit of others, report higher levels of happiness, satisfaction, and even better health. So when you offer up the last piece of chocolate cake or pour the first cup of coffee for your wife each morning, you're not just being polite. You're strengthening your sense of well-being, as well as your relationship. It's a simple, beautiful exchange. You give, and in giving, you receive. There's also something deeply American about these quiet gestures. Maybe it's the memory of parents or grandparents who lived through hard times, who learned that real love wasn't about grand gestures or fancy gifts, but about sharing what little you had. For many in the greatest generation, and those who came after, love was shown every day. A hand on the shoulder after a long day, a favorite meal waiting on the table, a gentle pat on the knee during Sunday service. As we age, these habits become even more precious. They remind us that, even as the world changes, the core of caring for someone caring remains the same. But what happens if you're the one always giving, always making sure your loved one gets the best? Does it ever leave you feeling overlooked or underappreciated? Maybe you sometimes wish someone would save the best for you, just once. If you felt that way, you're not alone, and it's okay to feel that way. Even the quietest givers need to feel valued and cared for in return. Here's the good news. There's a gentle solution that honors both your generosity and your own needs. Try making saving the best a shared habit. Talk with your partner about these small acts. Maybe tonight, you take turns picking who gets the biggest slice of peach cobbler. Or perhaps you create a new ritual, like always sharing the last cookie. The simple act of acknowledging these moments can turn them from routine into a celebration of your bond. For those who live alone, or whose loved one is no longer by their side, this idea can take on a different, but equally meaningful, form. Saving the best can be a way to honor the memory of someone you loved dearly. Perhaps you light a candle for them at dinner or prepare their favorite meal once in a while. In this way, the habit of giving doesn't end. It simply finds a new path, continuing to bring comfort and connection. Let me share with you a real story from a gentleman named George, who lives in a small town in Ohio. George and his wife, Ellen, have been married for 53 years. Every Sunday, Ellen bakes a batch of blueberry muffins, her special recipe passed down from her mother. For as long as anyone can remember, George has quietly set aside the muffin with the biggest burst of berries and placed it on Ellen's plate. He never mentioned it, never drew attention to it, but Ellen always seemed to notice. One day, their granddaughter asked why Grandma always got the best muffin. George smiled and shrugged, because she deserves it. For him, that was all the explanation needed. But the story doesn't end there. A few years ago, Ellen had a health scare and needed to follow a special diet for a while. She couldn't eat her beloved muffins, and George missed those Sunday mornings more than he realized. Instead of letting the tradition fade, he started bringing Ellen her favorite herbal tea, always making sure it was brewed just right, hot, but not too strong, with a spoonful of honey. The ritual changed, but the meaning stayed the same. George's quiet devotion became a source of comfort for both of them, even during difficult times. It's stories like these that remind us how powerful these small gestures can be. They build up, day after day, creating a foundation of trust and affection that carries us through life's storms. If you want to start making this kind of habit a little more intentional, here's a gentle tip you can try today. At your next meal, think about one small thing you could do to make your loved one's experience a little brighter. Maybe it's offering them the softest dinner roll, pouring them the first glass of iced tea, or simply asking, "Would you like the seat by the window?" The action itself doesn't matter as much as the spirit behind it. Over time, these moments become treasured memories, small stones that build the castle of your relationship. And if you're on the receiving end of such kindness, take a moment to notice, and to say thank you. Sometimes, the person saving the best for you doesn't expect praise, but a heartfelt word or even a gentle squeeze of the hand can mean the world. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So, why does this matter so much, especially as we get older? Because with every quiet act of giving, you're telling your loved one, "I see you. I cherish you. Your happiness matters to me." And that message, spoken not with grand declarations but with a shared piece of pie or a cup of tea, is the very essence of lasting love. As we travel through the later chapters of life, it's easy to believe that all the big stories have already happened. But in reality, the most meaningful stories are still being written, one caring act at a time. If you ever wonder whether these little things matter, remember George and Ellen and their blueberry muffins, or think about the joy in your own heart when you see someone you love enjoying something special that you made possible. You don't have to do anything extraordinary to show extraordinary love. Just keep saving the best for those who matter most. Every small act is a page in the beautiful story of your life together. And who knows? In giving away the best, you might just find that you've kept the very best for yourself, a heart full of quiet joy and a love that lasts. So next time you catch yourself sliding the last piece of pie across the table, smile and remember, it's not just a habit. It's the kind of love that endures, quietly and steadfastly, for a lifetime. And you are never too old to let that love shine. 2. They make an effort to listen, even if they don't understand everything. How many evenings have you found yourself sitting quietly in your favorite chair, the TV murmuring in the background, while your partner talks about her day, shares the details of a story from a friend, or discusses the plot twists of a show you never really followed. Maybe she's chatting about a neighbor's grandchild's graduation, or describing a new recipe she read in a magazine, or reminiscing about her old high school friends. You nod, smile, add a really here and a that's nice there, sometimes a bit lost in the details but always present in the moment. It's such a familiar scene, isn't it? One that plays out night after night in homes all across America, especially as we grow older. To some, it might seem unremarkable, a routine part of sharing a life. But for those who look closer, there's something beautiful happening in these moments. The gift of listening, even when you don't fully understand or follow every word. We often hear that communication is the key to a lasting relationship, but what does that mean? Is it about perfectly understanding every topic, or winning every debate? Or is it more about showing up, being there, and making the effort to listen, even when the subject drifts into territory we find confusing or unfamiliar? Isn't there something special, something quietly heroic, about the partner who leans in to listen, even if he isn't sure what Wordle is or can't quite keep track of the characters on his wife's favorite soap opera? Maybe you've always assumed that listening is only valuable when you understand every word and when you can chime in with the right response or offer advice. But what if the real value isn't in understanding the details, but in being there? What if the simple act of listening is, in itself, an act of love and devotion? Have you ever wondered if your presence, your quiet aha and attentive nods, matter more than you realize? Science has shown that listening, even passive listening, has a powerful impact on relationships. Psychologists say that being truly heard, even if the listener doesn't have all the answers, is one of the deepest human needs. For older couples especially, listening can be a bridge back to shared memories, mutual understanding, and emotional closeness. Researchers at the University of Michigan found that couples who report feeling listened to are more likely to describe their marriages as happy, even if they don't always agree or share the same interests. As we age, our worlds can shrink a little. Retirement changes our routines, families move away, and social circles shift. In these times, the value of simply having someone who will listen, no matter the topic, grows more important. Listening becomes a gift we give to our loved ones, a way of saying, "Your thoughts and feelings matter to me. You matter to me." Even if you don't quite follow the plot of the latest mystery novel or understand the ins and outs of her gardening club's drama, your willingness to listen is a quiet but powerful affirmation of your bond. Of course, listening when you're not completely in the loop isn't always easy. Maybe your mind wanders after a long day, or you catch yourself struggling to stay awake during a detailed retelling of every item at the church bake sale. That's perfectly normal. Listening isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about letting your partner know you care enough to try. So how can you turn this into a gentle, practical habit? Something that brings you closer together instead of just going through the motions. Here's a simple way to get started. The next time your partner starts sharing something, whether it's a memory from years ago or an update on a neighbor's new puppy, make a conscious choice to put down the newspaper or turn off the TV for just a few minutes. Make eye contact, nod, and ask a follow-up question, even a small one: what happened next? Or, how did that make you feel? You don't have to understand all the details to show that you care. For couples where one person has hearing loss or trouble following conversations, don't be afraid to ask for a little patience, or to admit when you're confused. "I'm not sure I caught that. Can you say it again?" Can be a bridge, not a barrier. And sometimes, a gentle touch on the hand or a shared smile says all that needs to be said. Let me tell you a real story about a couple named Ruth and Tom, who have been married for nearly 60 years. Ruth loves to tell stories about her childhood in rural Iowa, about their children's escapades, about the books she's reading. Tom, on the other hand, has never been much of a talker. Over the years, as Ruth's stories grew longer and more detailed, Tom would sometimes get lost in the twists and turns. But he always made a point to listen, to look at Ruth as she spoke, and to laugh at her punchlines. One evening, after a particularly long story about a new friend at church, Ruth leaned over and squeezed Tom's hand. "Thank you for listening," she said. "Even when I ramble." Tom just smiled and replied, "I like hearing your voice. That's what matters." At that moment, all the words in the world couldn't have said it better. Stories like Tom and Ruth's remind us that listening isn't about having the right response, but about making space for the other person's feelings, memories, and dreams. It's a gift that grows in value with every year we spend together. And if you're the one who wishes to be listened to, don't be afraid to ask for your partner's attention. Sometimes, a gentle request, "Can I tell you something?" is all it takes to create a moment of connection. Remember, listening is a two-way street. Just as you offer your presence to your loved one, you deserve to feel heard and valued in return. If you find it difficult to start these moments, try building a small ritual into your day. Maybe you share one story each evening over dessert or take a short walk together and talk about the day. The habit of listening, like any habit, gets easier with practice. Why does this all matter so much, especially in our later years? As time passes, the details may fade, but the feeling of being cherished, valued, and heard remains. The simple act of listening, truly listening, becomes a legacy of love, passed down in quiet moments and gentle nods. It's a way of saying, "You're not alone. I'm here with you, every step of the way." So tonight, when the conversation drifts into unfamiliar territory, or your partner tells a story you've heard 100 times, remember, your effort to listen is an act of love, perhaps the greatest one of all. Even if you don't catch every word, the fact that you're there, sharing the moment, is what matters most. Keep listening, even when you don't understand everything. Because in those moments, you're giving the gift of your presence, and writing a love story that will last a lifetime. 3. They hide their pain to avoid worrying her. It's a quiet, familiar scene for many couples who have shared decades. Maybe it's late in the evening, and he's sitting silently in his favorite chair, rubbing a sore shoulder or wincing as he stands up. She notices and asks if he's okay, and he simply smiles and says, "I'm fine." It might seem like a small moment, but behind those 3 words can lie a world of unspoken strength and sacrifice. For many older men, hiding their pain isn't about toughness or pride. It's a tender act of love, a way to protect the woman they cherish from worry and fear. You've likely seen it yourself, or maybe you've done it. The discomfort of aching joints, the stiffness from old injuries, or even more serious health challenges quietly endured without complaint. It's easy to think that sharing every ache or pain would bring relief or understanding. But for many men, especially those who grew up in a generation where toughing it out was the norm, revealing vulnerability can feel like burdening their loved ones. So instead, they choose silence, wearing their pain like a quiet badge of devotion. But have you ever wondered, could this well-meaning silence sometimes do more harm than good? What if by hiding their struggles, they're also hiding a part of themselves, leaving their partner guessing and anxious? Isn't it possible that sharing pain, even the smallest discomfort, could bring couples closer rather than push them apart? Modern science helps us understand this better. Research shows that when people openly share their pain, both physical and emotional, they often experience better outcomes. Partners who communicate about their struggles tend to feel more supported, less isolated, and more connected. According to studies published in journals like Pain and the Journal of Aging and Health, couples who openly discuss health issues have stronger emotional bonds and better overall well-being. But of course, opening up isn't always easy. For men who have spent a lifetime being the strong one, admitting pain can feel like losing control. The culture many grew up in prized resilience and silent endurance. So how can couples gently break through this barrier without pressure or judgment? One simple approach is creating safe spaces for conversation. Instead of asking, "Are you in pain?" which might trigger a reflexive, "I'm fine," try sharing your feelings first. "I've been feeling a little overwhelmed lately, and I wanted to check in with you." This kind of invitation often encourages reciprocity. Listening with empathy, without rushing to fix or minimize, helps your partner feel safe to share. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Another gentle step is to pay attention to the small signals, the way he shifts in his chair, the pause in his voice, or the wince when reaching for something. Sometimes, a loving touch or a quiet offer to help, "Let me get that for you," speaks louder than words. These moments of awareness build trust and show that it's okay to let down the guard. I want to share the story of a man named Robert, a retired firefighter from Wisconsin. Robert's joints ached badly after years of service, but he rarely mentioned it to his wife, Linda. He worried she would feel sad or helpless if she knew the extent of his pain. One winter evening, Linda gently insisted they visit the doctor together after noticing Robert's usual smile had faded. That visit led to a new pain management plan that improved Robert's quality of life significantly. More importantly, it opened the door to honest conversations about health, fears, and hopes. Robert told Linda later, "I realized hiding my pain didn't protect her, it just kept us from facing it together." Stories like Robert's remind us that vulnerability is not weakness. It's a bridge to deeper love and understanding. When you choose to share your pain, you're inviting your partner to walk alongside you, to carry the load together. If you're the one hiding discomfort, consider this gentle encouragement. You don't have to carry your pain alone. Letting your loved one in doesn't mean you're a burden. It means you trust them enough to share your real self. And often, that trust is met with grace, patience, and renewed closeness. For those on the other side, the partners who sense something is wrong but hear only, "I'm fine," know that your quiet presence and steady support can make all the difference. Sometimes, your patient listening, a warm touch, or simply sitting together in silence can be the balm your loved one needs. Try this simple step today. Next time you notice discomfort in your partner, instead of brushing it off, gently say, "I'm here for you, no matter what." Let your words create a safe space where pain can be shared without fear. As we age, our bodies tell stories of all we've been through, the battles fought, the joys celebrated, the scars earned. Sharing those stories, even the painful parts, enriches the tapestry of a lifetime lived side by side. Remember, love isn't just about the good times. It's about walking through the hard ones together. When you hide your pain to protect someone you love, you show incredible strength. But when you choose to share that pain, you open the door to healing, compassion, and a love that grows even deeper. So don't be afraid to say, "I'm hurting," or "I'm struggling." Your loved one wants to know, to help, and to hold your hand through it all. And in that shared vulnerability, you'll find a courage that lights the way forward, together. 4. They remember the little things. Have you ever noticed how some people, especially the older men in our lives, seem to have an almost uncanny way of remembering the smallest details about their loved ones? Maybe it's the exact way she likes her coffee in the morning, the name of her childhood best friend, or the flower that always brings a smile to her face. These little things might seem insignificant to some, easily overlooked or forgotten in the rush of daily life. But for those who pay attention, these tiny details are the threads that weave a strong and lasting bond between two people. At first, you might think, isn't it normal to remember these things? Of course, he knows what I like. But have you ever stopped to wonder why some men never forget, while others seem to lose track of even the most important dates or preferences? What if remembering those little things is a deliberate, loving act, a way of saying, without words, "You are important to me"? It's tempting to assume that memory fades with age and that forgetting small details is inevitable. However, scientific studies show that emotional connections play a powerful role in what we remember. When something is linked to a loved one or a cherished memory, our brains prioritize that information. Researchers in neuroscience have discovered that emotional significance can enhance memory retention, making it easier for us to recall meaningful details even as we grow older. This means that when an older man remembers the kind of music his wife danced to at their wedding or the name of her favorite childhood pet, it's not just luck, it's love in action. His brain is wired to treasure these moments because they represent the story of their life together. So how can we all nurture this beautiful habit of remembering the little things? It doesn't require a photographic memory or complicated techniques. It simply takes intention and a little bit of care. Start by paying closer attention to the small preferences and stories your loved one shares. Maybe keep a mental note, or even a little journal, of special moments or favorite things. When you bring these details up later, it shows that you were truly listening and that you value what matters to them. Take a moment each day to ask about something personal, like, "How was your garden today?" Or, "Did you get to enjoy that book you mentioned?" These simple questions reinforce your interest and help keep those memories fresh. Let me share a story about a gentleman named Henry, a retired teacher from Maine. Henry has been married to his wife, Margaret, for over 40 years. Despite his busy days teaching, he always remembered the little things that mattered to Margaret. Her favorite brand of tea, the way she liked her sweaters folded, the exact spot she preferred on their morning walks. One Christmas, Margaret mentioned, almost in passing, that she loved the scent of pine needles. On Christmas morning, Henry surprised her with a wreath made from pine branches picked fresh from their backyard. That small gesture brought tears to her eyes because it showed how much he cared. Henry's attention to detail wasn't just about being thoughtful. It was a daily choice to connect and cherish their shared life. His habit of remembering those little things built a reservoir of love and trust that carried them through challenges and changes. If you want to embrace this habit yourself, try starting small. Maybe tomorrow morning, prepare a cup of coffee just the way your loved one likes it. Or recall a happy memory you shared and bring it up in conversation. Over time, these small actions add up and create a deeper sense of closeness and appreciation. And if you're on the receiving end, don't hesitate to gently remind your partner of what matters to you. Sharing your preferences and stories openly invites them to remember and celebrate you. Why does this matter so much as we grow older? Because life isn't made up only of grand events or milestones. It's the accumulation of countless small moments, details that make up the fabric of a shared life. Remembering the little things says, "You matter. I see you. I cherish our story together." So next time you notice that special song playing on the radio, or that favorite flower blooming in the garden, think about the power of these small details. They are the quiet love letters we write every day through memory and attention. Keep remembering the little things. Because in those tiny moments lies the heart of a lifetime's love, a love that listens, cares, and never forgets. 5. They keep old traditions alive. There's something deeply comforting about traditions. Maybe it's the smell of fresh-baked cookies on a Sunday afternoon, the soft glow of a particular lamp that's been in the family for generations, or the familiar rhythm of a holiday ritual passed down through decades. For many older couples, keeping these traditions alive is more than just nostalgia. It's a way of staying connected to their shared past, honoring the journey they've taken together, and creating a sense of belonging that feels like home. You've likely experienced this yourself. Perhaps every year, without fail, you and your spouse prepare a special meal on the anniversary of your first date. Or maybe you keep the same bedtime routine that your parents taught you, reading the newspaper together before lights out. These routines might seem small or even routine, but they carry a weight of meaning that can't be measured in minutes or recipes. But why do some couples hold on so tightly to traditions, while others let them fade away? Is it simply habit, or is there a deeper reason behind these acts? Have you ever wondered how these repeated rituals affect the strength and warmth of a relationship, especially as the years add up? Research in psychology tells us that traditions serve as important emotional anchors. They provide a sense of predictability and safety, which is especially valuable in later life when many aspects of the world can feel uncertain or rapidly changing. According to studies from institutions like the University of Pennsylvania, couples who maintain shared rituals report higher satisfaction and feel more emotionally connected. These traditions aren't just about what you do, they're about reinforcing the story of us, reminding both partners that they are part of something enduring. One fascinating part of this is how traditions create a shared language and identity unique to each couple or family. Whether it's a secret handshake, a special toast at Thanksgiving, or a certain song you play on road trips, these rituals help keep the bond alive. They serve as a bridge connecting memories with the present moment, a thread weaving together the tapestry of years spent side by side. If you're wondering how to keep traditions meaningful without feeling like you're stuck in the past, consider this: traditions don't have to be rigid or grand. They can be as simple as making your morning coffee just the way you both like it, or lighting a candle on the dinner table every night. The key is intention, doing these things not out of obligation, but because they carry a special meaning for you both. I want to share a story about a couple named Alice and John from a small town in Vermont. They've been married for nearly 55 years, and every summer they continue a tradition that started early in their marriage: picking wild blueberries from the nearby forest to make jam together. Even as their steps have slowed and their hands have grown friendlier, they still find joy in this ritual. For Alice, those blueberry picking days are not just about the jam, they're about the laughter shared, the quiet moments side by side, and the feeling of continuity. John says it's the tradition that reminds him that no matter what changes, they're still a team. This story shows how traditions can evolve and adapt, becoming even more precious with time. They are a living testament to a couple's history, reflecting both where they've been and who they are now. If you want to nurture these bonds in your own life, start by thinking about one tradition that has special meaning to you and your partner. It might be a holiday ritual, a favorite recipe, or a simple daily habit. Then, find a way to keep it alive, even if it means making small adjustments to fit your current lifestyle. And if you don't currently have traditions you share, it's never too late to start. Create new rituals that feel meaningful. A weekly phone call to a close friend, a Sunday afternoon walk, or a regular movie night. These moments, repeated over time, become the new threads in your shared story. Why do these traditions matter so much as we grow older? Because they offer a comforting rhythm in the ever-changing landscape of life. They are reminders that love is not only in grand gestures but in the small, consistent acts that say, I'm here, I remember, and I care. So, cherish those old traditions and welcome new ones with open arms. They are the quiet celebrations of a life well lived together, a legacy of love that, like a favorite song or a familiar recipe, never fades. Keep the traditions alive. Because in doing so, you keep your love strong, your memories vivid, and your hearts forever connected. 6. They quietly prepare for the day they're gone. As we journey through life together, sharing joys, challenges, and countless memories, there comes a time when the thought of what happens after I'm gone quietly settles in the back of our minds. It's not a topic often spoken about openly, sometimes because it's hard to face, and sometimes because we want to protect those we love from worry. Yet, many older men carry this weight with silent strength, preparing in their thoughtful ways for the day they won't be by their partner's side anymore. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. You may have noticed this yourself. Perhaps he's been organizing old photo albums, writing notes, or quietly handling paperwork, things that might seem mundane or practical to others but hold deep meaning beneath the surface. These aren't just chores, they are acts of love. A way to leave a trail of comfort, guidance, and care for the one he cherishes most. But have you ever wondered why these preparations happen so quietly, often without a word? It's natural to think that preparing for the inevitable is something done openly with conversations and plans. Yet, for many men, especially those from earlier generations, showing vulnerability around such topics can be difficult. Instead, they choose to express their love by quietly making sure that when they are no longer here, their partner won't be left alone to navigate the challenges of life. It's their way of saying, I will always take care of you. But is it possible that this silent preparation could also bring peace and reassurance to both partners if shared more openly? Could talking about these plans deepen the connection and ease the fears surrounding the unknown? What if preparing for the future together was not just a practical necessity, but also a final gift of love and companionship? Science supports the idea that having these conversations, though difficult, can reduce anxiety and strengthen emotional bonds. According to research from institutions like the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, couples who openly discuss end-of-life wishes and practical arrangements experience less stress and more mutual support. These conversations help partners feel heard, respected, and cared for, turning an uncomfortable topic into an opportunity for connection. Of course, beginning such talks isn't always easy. Many find it helpful to start small, perhaps sharing memories, hopes, or fears about the future before moving on to more practical matters. Writing letters or recording messages for loved ones can be a gentle way to express feelings and leave lasting words of comfort. One touching story comes from a man named Harold, who lives in a quiet suburb of Michigan. Harold has been married to his wife, Louise, for nearly 60 years. In recent years, he began writing her letters for important moments he knew he might not be there for. Birthdays, anniversaries, even just ordinary days when she might feel lonely. Harold didn't announce this plan to everyone. It was a quiet, personal project born from love and foresight. When Louise found the first letter, she was overwhelmed with emotion. It wasn't just the words, but the knowledge that Harold had thought so deeply about her well-being, even when they couldn't talk about it directly. Those letters became a source of strength for her, a reminder that their bond transcended time and presence. If you're thinking about how to approach this delicate but important part of your relationship, here's a gentle suggestion. Consider starting a shared journal or memory book with your loved one. Use it to write notes, share stories, and outline your wishes. This creates a living document of your love and intentions that you can both cherish and update over time. For those who may feel uneasy about discussing end-of-life topics, remember that preparation isn't about giving up hope. It's about honoring the love you share and making life easier for those you care about most. It's a final act of kindness and responsibility, wrapped in the quiet dignity of a life well lived. And for partners on the receiving end, recognize these silent efforts as the profound expressions of love they are. Sometimes, the man who doesn't talk much about the future is still deeply engaged in shaping it, for you. Offering patience, gratitude, and gentle encouragement can open doors to meaningful conversations that bring comfort and peace. Why does this matter so deeply as we grow older? Because facing our mortality is one of the most human and loving things we can do. By quietly preparing for the day they're gone, older men are ensuring that their love continues to guide and protect. Even in their absence, it's the legacy of care that outlives them, a quiet promise that says, "I'm still with you." So if you find yourself reflecting on these moments, take heart in knowing that love often speaks loudest in silence. And by embracing this gentle preparation together, you are writing the next chapter of your story, one filled with grace, understanding, and the enduring power of love. Remember, no matter what the future holds, the care you show today can be a beacon of hope and comfort for the days ahead. And that is a gift beyond measure. Keep loving, keep preparing, and keep holding each other close, because true love never truly says goodbye. As we come to the end of this journey together, I hope you felt the quiet power behind these simple acts, saving the best for your loved one, listening even when you don't fully understand, hiding your pain to protect, remembering the little things, keeping traditions alive, and preparing quietly for the day you're gone. These aren't just habits. They are the language of love spoken softly through everyday moments. Love in our later years may not always be loud or dramatic, but it is deep, steady, and unwavering. It shows up in the small sacrifices, the gentle attentiveness, and the thoughtful preparations that say, "I see you. I cherish you. I will always be here for you." It's a love that honors a lifetime shared, a bond that grows stronger even as time passes. I want to invite you now to reflect on what you've heard today. Which of these quiet acts of love resonate with you most? Have you noticed these moments in your own life, or perhaps in someone you care about? Take a moment to share your thoughts or stories in the comments below. Your experience might just inspire someone else to cherish those small, meaningful gestures in their relationships. Remember, it's never too late to nurture these habits or to start new ones. Love is alive in every choice we make to care, listen, remember, and prepare. By embracing these simple, heartfelt ways of showing love, we create a legacy that lasts far beyond ourselves. If this video touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll continue to celebrate the beauty of love, life, and connection at every age. Thank you for being here and for sharing this journey with me.